Five by five. Good morning. It is the 6th of July, 2025. Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. I am Bear from the internet, and boy, I am humbled that YouTube, owned by Google, would work so hard to keep us from going live this morning. However, here we are. This is going to be a relatively quick sit rep. Texas flooding. We're going to talk about that. Also, very quick update for those that are unaware, we meaning Refuge Medical, have been doing battle with Google since Thursday. Our website experienced some Google hiccups, but it is back up. RefugeMedical.com is back up. If for some reason it's still not working for you, you can do nerd stuff and reset your cache or whatever, or you can visit refugeforlife.com, which is also up. And as a welcome back, you can use code WELCOMEBACK20, all caps, one word, WELCOMEBACK20 for 20% off everything in the store. Okay, cool. Welcome back 20% off. And shout out to my wife for being an amazing human being and doing battle with Google and winning, which seems to be a thing that we do around here. Is do battle with YouTube and Google and win. Good morning, Bear Nation. There are lots of reports and lots of conflicting reports coming in regarding the flooding in Central Texas, Hill Country area. So we'll read an article here from NBC News, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of a sit rep from the ground as I understand it, knowing that first reporting, thank you, Biffer87 for the super chat. Appreciate you. Shalom. First reporting is almost always wrong. And then even people from inside my own organizations are giving me conflicting intelligence. I guess first thing to know here is Grindstone is on standby awaiting a tasking. We are ready to do the things that Grindstone does. We're just waiting to be allowed to do it. Allegedly, the American Red Cross, think of them whatever you will. I certainly have my own opinions, but the American Red Cross has lead over all NGOs. Unaffiliated freelance volunteers are being coordinated through the Volunteer Resource Center, VRC, and are also untasked at this time. The state of Texas is doing everything that they can to take lead on this and using Texas state resources in order to deal with the situation. Texas DPS, Department of Public Safety, Texas State Troopers, their helos, Texas National Guard, and their helos, Texas Department of Emergency Management, for example, Water Rescue Team 3, state of Texas has been very busy. There's been somewhere around 300 rescues performed thus far. The death toll has risen to approximately 51. I was texting with a gentleman yesterday whose name is Jason from Frogman Tactical. So shout out to Jason at Frogman Tactical, former Frogman, who was down in Texas teaching classes and is down in Texas right now doing recon, rescue, and recovery as well. And also shout out to Doc Pete Chambers, who is down there in Texas providing some really good intel reports of the situation on the ground. So it's dynamic. If we pull back just a little bit, look at kind of a strategic overview here. I'm sure many of you remember Hurricane Helene. I certainly do. And Hurricane Helene was noteworthy in the sense that the next rad radar was going off 24 to 36 hours prior to the storm ultimately making its track into western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee. And here's the thing, that was a hurricane, but I remember specifically our first helicopter ride from our fly down yard in eastern Tennessee into North Carolina, where some friends of ours had appropriated the Banner Elk Municipal Airport. The mountaintops had tornadic damage on the northwestern corners of all of the mountains. That's very, very, very extremely rare, aka borderline unnatural, because typically the storm track moves from southwest to northeast. So for there to be tornadic damage on the northwest side of the mountains doesn't track. Didn't make any sense. Okay. Why? Land grab for lithium in a nutshell. This area of Texas had been propositioned for a lithium-ion battery storage facility for the grid. It was rejected by the people of the area, and then they were going to install a $160 million natural gas power plant instead of lithium batteries for the grid. And now it's flooded. And the NextRad radar has been going nuts in that region for the last few days. Doc Pete Chambers has got phenomenal intel reports that he's been putting out. Current alerts and monitoring. Flash flood remains in effect for Burnett, Travis, and Williamson counties until 1600 yesterday, 4 p.m. yesterday. If you're not following him on X, you should, because he's putting these reports out daily, in some cases hourly. There's reports of about 350 homes currently affected. Current plan is to let the water recede and see what people are dealing with. There are SAW teams inbound. Texas State Forestry Department has their SAW teams. There's lots of individual SAW teams headed there to cut open roadways, to mobilize heavy equipment. Flooding is very challenging to deal with. Hurricane Helene affected areas are still in the recovery phase. Now, in many cases, the people who were affected by the storm got no early warning or very delayed early warnings, which is part of why when you see why didn't people just leave? Good morning, Alex Toder, bless you. Why didn't people just leave? They weren't told to leave until, in many cases, it was too late, or they weren't told at all. So depending on which reports you see, the rivers rose anywhere between 26 feet high in 45 minutes to 30 feet high over the course of 3 hours. So that's an extreme amount of water in a very short period of time. It reinforces the idea that we need to always have in the back of our mind a plan to leave, like right now. One of the things that we do at Grindstone is, if I have to leave, because oftentimes disasters are compounded by more disasters, especially during hurricane and tornado season. There's oftentimes more hurricanes and tornadoes in the same regions that are coming while you're on the ground doing the work. So I need a 15-minute plan. I need a 1-hour plan. I need a 4-hour plan. And I need a 24-hour plan. Okay. And the 15-minute plan is throw everything in the truck and leave. Okay. The 1-hour plan is try and button it up nice, throw it in the trucks and leave. The 4-hour plan is pack it up, clean it up. Okay. No meal prep, no nothing, and leave. The 24-hour plan is pack it up, have a last meal, shake hands, kiss babies, do the thing. Okay. Wave everybody off, pray as we're headed out of this place, and leave. But it starts with a 15-minute plan, which looks like throw people and stuff in truck and just leave. All right. And so whatever version of a 15-minute plan you guys need to have, you need to have it. What we know so far from NBCnews.com, flash flooding, catastrophic flooding struck central Texas on Friday, causing a sudden surge of 20 to 26 feet of the Guadalupe River near Kerrville, leading to widespread damage and road washouts. The death toll has risen to 53 people across 5 counties overnight. In Kerr County, officials reported 43 deaths, 28 adults, and 15 children. Dozens are missing from camp. Some families have begun identifying campers who were killed in the flooding. Officials said this morning the tally of children missing from Camp Mystic stood at 27. Shakira, she of the hips that don't lie, has announced she'll be donating a portion of the proceeds she made from her concert last night in San Antonio to the flood victims. That's great. She said a bunch of blah, blah on X. Governor Andy Beshear of Kentucky had a message for Texans. Kentucky loves you. We know what you're going through. Flash floods in Kentucky killed 45 people in 2022. Just this year, Kentucky was hit with devastating floods. Yada, yada, yada. Let's see. Xavier Ramirez waited outside of Calvary Temple Church, hoping for a miracle that somehow his mom, where did this go? I missed it. Somehow his mom, stepfather, aunt, uncle, and cousin weren't swallowed by Texas' bloated Guadalupe River. Ramirez, 23, from Midland, was at church in Kerrville. With weariness in his eyes, he was getting by minute, second by second. One of his cousins, Devin Smith, who had been at HTR campgrounds outside of Ingram when the Guadalupe River burst from its banks, had been found late Friday and was recovering at Peterson Regional Center. They are finding people in trees. That's one of the things that is, what's the appropriate way to say this? Messes with your mind. It's not the phrase I would use, but I don't want to offend all the nice people. Is with flooding and catastrophic flooding, search and rescue oftentimes involves looking up because you will find people in trees, sometimes still alive. Lots of reporting from the ground. There are vehicles and camper trailers and trailer frames wrapped around trees, in trees, through trees. Again, Red Cross has leadership for all of the NGOs, which are trying to get to work to receive tasking. State of Texas has lead. All of the airspace is currently DOD and LEO, Department of Defense law enforcement. And so that has led to some complications from the air boss for grounding drones that have thermal capability in order to be able to locate heat signatures of people that are still alive. A good air boss can run helos and drones at the same time, but they're probably overwhelmed because they've never dealt with this before. There is rumor of more rain in the forecast west of Waco today, so pay attention to that. So there's disaster relief and disaster recovery. Relief is the initial phase. And so the relief is just beginning. The recovery will take probably years, based upon our previous experience with Grindstone. Obviously, everybody says thoughts and prayers. I think our thoughts are not very valuable in this, but I believe intercession to the Most High for the preservation of life is the most valuable thing. And so we have been in prayer for the people affected by this, and especially those girls that were washed away since yesterday morning, if not earlier. Pay attention to big picture strategic things. Pay attention to the next rad radar. I can tell right now from the way my brain is feeling that it's pulsing somewhere. And that sounds like hyperbole, and it's not. It has actual effects on the human physiology. Also, strategic picture, there's a company called rainmaker.com, that's gotten really quiet in the last 72 hours because they hold a contract from the state of Texas for cloud seeding. And on July 1st, they were cloud seeding in the region that is now flooded, coupled with all the next rad radar pulsing like a Christmas tree. The whole country was lit up like a Christmas tree. And this is why Google/YouTube doesn't just instantly bless off on our live streams and let us in. This is why we have to fight our way in every time we go live, because if this was a pre-recorded video, what they would do is they would demonetize it. Not that I make any money on YouTube anyway, but the algorithm doesn't touch content that isn't monetized, meaning that this would never get out to people. So a big help here would be share the show with somebody you love, because algorithmically we've been in Sheol, the place of the dead, for about 18 months anyway. So the only way that this information gets out there, the only way the channel grows, is when you share the show. Please and thank you. So Rainmaker, this company, rainmaker.com, you can go check them out. They also have an X account, holds a contract with the state of Texas where they are being paid with taxpayer funds for cloud seeding. And they were cloud seeding in this region at least through the 1st of July, as possibly up through the 4th of July. Coupled with NextRad, which is next generation radar. When the radar from NextRad bounces off of whatever it is that it's, how does radar work? It sends out a pulse, and that pulse bounces back, and then that bounce back, just like a porpoise uses, it's screeches for echolocation. Same thing with a bat. That's what the radar is doing. It's bouncing off of things, and then it's drawing a picture of the things it bounces off of. Except the NextRad has the ability to actually energize the atmosphere. So you couple the cloud seeding with the NextRad, and you get catastrophic flooding. Again, we saw this in Helene, and then after Helene, I said it'd be really interesting to see if there's other regions of the country that are tied to lithium that have the same issue. And not a couple, 3 months later, southwestern Arkansas got NextRadded and had catastrophic flooding. And now this area of the Texas Hill Country with the lithium tie-in gets cloud seeded and NextRadded, and that's super interesting. And real people die. Real people have died from this. There will be billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in damage that results from this. I saw one individual opining on X that this seems very much so like a mass-scale satanic ritual, because there was a blood sacrifice on the 4th of July in the heart of the country, Texas. And it's like, that's super interesting. I don't know if I ascribe to that thought or not, but it is definitely interesting. So part of our early warning systems here, again, pay attention to the NextRad radar. Okay. As far as Texas is concerned, pray for those people. If you want to support Grindstone Ministries, if you're convicted by the Spirit to support Grindstone Ministries, you can. The relief effort is just beginning, and it'll be a couple, 3 weeks before that shifts into recovery. Search and rescue is still ongoing right now. We are mobilizing, amongst other things, logistics and SAW teams, cadaver dogs, because this is about the time where we go from rescue to recovery, unfortunately. Now it's going to be remains, not living souls that are recovered. And one of the problems with floods, one of the challenges with floods, is there's so much debris that's moved. Some of these bodies will never be found. They will just never be found. Remember, in Helene, the National Guard was bulldozing entire towns into the mud with bodies still under it. And while they denied that, there was photographic and video evidence of it. So, and eyewitness accounts of it. We had recon teams all throughout Appalachia while that was happening. That on the overt level were in no way connected to us. Yeah. So in any event, hopefully remains are recovered, but just because they're not recovered doesn't mean that that person is still out there. Unfortunately, their soul has returned to their maker and their body is returned to the earth. And it's one of the major challenges with flooding. As for the question of why were there camps along the river in an area known as like, flood central, I don't know. Do I want to send my kids to a Christian camp called Camp Mystic in an area that's prone to flooding? I'd probably think twice about that myself personally. I don't really send my kids anywhere unless it's with somebody that I know personally and trust. So things to think about. Actions have consequences. Unfortunately, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That doesn't mean that the hurt that these families are going through is lessened to any because of their ignorance, perhaps. And it's a really terrible way to learn a lesson. Now, big picture strategic. These people are playing God. What is that? Is this treason?
Yeah.
Honey. What was this? What did this start life as? A Bing cherry?
No, a Rainier cherry.
A Rainier cherry. And you put it in the dehydrator for 2 days?
Well, it was like 18 hours.
Hey,
And I processed like probably 10 pounds worth of cherries into not even a half-gallon jar.
what are you doing the rest of your life?
You, baby.
That's right. That's the right answer. All right. This is delicious.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay, love you.
I love you too. Bye.
Did you tell him I unbroke?
Yeah, thanks for kicking Google's ass. We all appreciate you.
Yes.
These people are playing God. Wars, rumors of war, famine, plague, and disease. God, Yahuwah, Yahweh, Adonai, El Shaddai, Hashem, pick your title, Abba, is in charge, is sovereign. These people, with their technology, are not. And as they, the big they, continue to build this modern Tower of Babylon and make offerings at the altars of quantum computing and 7th generation technologies, we have to disassociate from them. That's what this channel is about. It's called Bear Independent, not because I'm politically independent, although I am. It's because my goal is to be as independent from this broken, fragile system as possible. That when this system breaks, I and my loved ones don't break with it. And you know, when I first started doing this 7 years ago, I've been doing this for 20 years, but when I first started talking about it on camera 7 years ago, that was kind of a crazy concept. You're a little paranoid, Bear Man. Yeah. Am I? Then COVID hit, and then Biden hit, and then Helene hit, and 100 other things. And we live under the illusion of this mighty beast system. And it has no power and no authority other than what we cede to it. The only authority that it has is the authority we give it. The only power it has is the power that we give it. And it's blasphemous to give it any power, because the only power that we have comes from the Most High. So don't give what belongs to the Most High over to the beast. Come out of her, my people, lest you partake of her sins and receive of her plagues. Separate yourself. Exactly. Be set apart, sober party. It's, brothers and sisters, it's going to get worse before it gets worse. And I take no joy in saying that. But we will continue to devolve. The beatings will continue until morale improves. And the only time there will be peace is when Messiah returns. And that is a peace that is made through superior firepower. Read the end of the book. So, pray for the people in Central Texas. Pray for all the NGOs. Pray for the Grindstone team. If you want to be a part of whatever it is that Grindstone ends up doing, grindstoneministries.com. If and only if the Spirit convicts you. I don't want a dime of your money, and I don't want a minute of your time if we are not in agreement in the Spirit. Go rescue puppies. Spay and neuter your animal friends. Work the soup kitchen. Do whatever it is the Father tells you to do. Not what I tell you to do. what the Father, the creator of the universe, and his Holy Spirit tells you to do. I don't want to be in disagreement with the Spirit. Okay. Texas is it's gonna take a long time. And my prayer is that the state of Texas will let the NGOs do what the NGOs do. We are there to assist. We are there to help for the preservation of life. And it's not our first rodeo. It's not our first catastrophic flood. It's not our first disaster. It's our 50-somethingth disaster in 6 years since 2019. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. And so my prayer is that the powers that be in Texas would let Grindstone do what it does. So if you could keep that in prayer, I'd appreciate it. Like I said, quick SITREP for this morning. Please have a plan. Please have a plan for if you need to go. Like, I got to leave. The water's rising. We got to go. Please always keep in the back of your mind, how do I get out of here right now? I need a 15-minute plan, 1-hour plan, 4-hour plan, 24-hour plan. And again, that 15-minute plan looks like throw people and stuff in the vehicle and go. If there's no vehicle, get to high ground. Get off the X. Remove yourself from the dangerous situation. And then 1 hour, 4-hour, and 24-hour plans are just more intricate variations of throw the things in the truck and go. Throw the people in the truck and go. Ten more inches of rain expected in the area today in isolated pockets. Still very much so in life safety and search and rescue. Additional aircraft resources being requested, about 20 rotary wing and 3 fixed wing, with one being an MQ-9, a Reaper. Interesting. Texas Department of Emergency Management. I'm getting live updates as this is happening. So that's the show for today. Again, shout out to my amazing wife for getting refugemedical.com up and running again after 4 or 5 days of a broken website. We'd really appreciate it if you'd go do some window shopping at refugemedical.com, refugeforlife.com. And if there's anything we can help you with, shoot us an email, hit the live chat on the website, call the store, and you can use code WELCOMEBACK20, all one